I am so happy to be live. This is my first time live streaming both inside of my Facebook group and on Instagram. So if you are here inside of the Women's Wellness Collective live with me, or you're live here with me on Instagram, it is such an honor. Today is my first time live streaming inside of my private Facebook group, the Women's Wellness Collective. It is a very intentional, safe, sacred healing space where all women are welcomed, accepted and loved unconditionally just as they are, so that they feel comfortable, safe, and confident, not just in making positive connections with other women who share their journey, who understand their desire to live an optimally healthy and well life, but also in unpacking the layers that need to be unpacked on your own health and healing journey. So I am so glad you're here. So honored to be with you. I am dr.elizabethrodgers, for those of you who do not know me. And today what I want to do is just start to kick off a live series of trainings with you all. And today what I want to do is just plug it. And so what I will tell you now is that these live trainings are most likely never going to be scripted. I believe in just plugging into the universe and speaking straight from my heart and soul. So what I really want to do during these times is be present with you all, connect with you all, and start to lay the foundational evidence for you, which is what I want to do today, to start proving to you why and how healing is an inside job, right? We often, when it comes to our health, to our healing, to our lives, and I want you all to just think about this in relationship to your own life. Reflect on yourself, right? No matter who you are, no matter what's going on with your health and well-being, I don't care if you're currently dealing with symptoms or not. And please understand that I'm not here simply to work with people who either do or don't have, who do have symptoms or some sort of burdensome diagnosis, right? Because the truth is that even if you're out there and you are somebody who lives a very healthy lifestyle, but even if you're somebody out there who doesn't want, or who isn't experiencing symptoms, right? But you just know deep down inside that what you desire is to feel the very best that you can, right? Isn't that what we all want? We all want to feel as good as we can, need to, want to, should, and quite honestly, we're born with the birthright to be able to feel the very best that we can. We were born with this incredibly amazing, impeccable immune system that was divinely designed to fight for us. And we are both physical and non-physical beings. And so what I really want to start to do is guide you on your healing journey in some way, shape, or form. And see, I came into this world to help people. And so today what I want to do, and in each of these live trainings, is to help you on your healing journey, to help you in some way, shape, or form, even if it's in a small way. So these trainings, I'm going to try to keep them as short as possible so that you can listen to me, if you're in your car, standing in line at the store, sitting in line at Starbucks, wherever you are. I want you to get something out of this. So what my hope is for you all today is that I'm going to start to give you some tangible evidence as to why and how healing is an inside job, right? Because as you all know, or if you don't know, as you're getting to know me now, understand that I, Dr. Elizabeth, I stand firmly as the bridge between science and spirit. So while you will hear me talk about the gaping wide holes in Western medicine, in mainstream healthcare, I love Western medicine and mainstream healthcare, which is actually exactly why I want to be very clear in helping everybody to understand exactly what it's useful for and exactly what it's not useful for. And I want to start to help you understand why and how healing is something that happens from the inside out, right? So back to what I was just saying a few minutes ago. I want you to think about this in relationship to your own life. And I just want you to think through this example with me, okay? Whether you're experiencing symptoms or not, which is what took me on that little sidetrack tangent, right? Because I want you to understand that even if you are living quote unquote symptom free right now, right? A majority of human beings, right? And I'll use the statistic that here in the United States alone, almost half of our entire adult population, half of our entire adult population is living every single day with at least one chronic physical, mental, or emotional health issue, right? Now, of that part of the population, at least 60% of those people are living with 2 or more chronic health issues daily, right? So given those statistics, I think we all know that whether you're sitting here watching this, connecting with me, and you are symptom-free or not, the truth is that even if you're symptom-free, you could very well be sitting there watching this and connecting with me and relating to this statement I'm about to make, is that even if you're symptom-free, I know that a lot of you watching this right here, right now, don't feel your very best. Wouldn't say to me if I asked you, are you living in a state of optimal health and well-being? You still wouldn't say yes to me. And that is because deep down inside, right, there's still something missing. So I want you to just think about this in relationship to your own life. I'm going to walk you through an example. And today I really want to talk with you about why habits and training yourself actually have everything to do with your ability to not just heal, but to live in an optimal state of health and well-being, right? So first, I want you to just think about your life. And I know you can relate to this. All of us, right? Everybody can think of one time in their life at least that they've wanted to make a change for their own personal improvement, whether that was specifically related to your health and wellness, or whether that had something to do with a goal that you set in your life or an achievement that you wanted to have, to accomplish, We've all been there, right? And in fact, we all came into this lifetime as human beings to grow, to learn, to evolve. So I hope that everyone in the world can relate to this, because everybody should be able to say that, yeah, Dr. Elizabeth, I'm right there with you. At some point in my life, I wanted to do something and get myself to a place that I wasn't currently in. And so that meant I had to make changes, right? And so what do we typically do when we decide we want to make an improvement in our lives, right? We start doing, right? I just answered the question for you. What do we usually do? We do, right? We start doing all the things, right? We start looking for answers. We start going down the rabbit hole in the Google searches. We start looking for support. We start reaching outside of ourselves, reading articles, buying products, if that's something that would be helpful on our path. And we start doing all the things, right? And we can use weight loss as a simple example, right? If you've ever wanted to lose weight in any capacity, what do you usually do, right? Well, you go out and you start doing things, right? You throw out all the junk food, you go to the grocery store, you buy a bunch of healthy things, you look up all the lists, you look up all the recipes, you go to the gym and start moving. You're doing. But what you're not doing is taking a step back and looking at the person who you are, the being that is doing all of that doing, right? So I want to share a really incredibly, I find fascinating statistic with you all. So the Max Planck Institute in Leipzig, Germany is one of the world-renowned research institutes, right? There are multiple Nobel Prize winning laureates who contribute research there, and just incredible scientists from all over the world contribute to research ongoing at the Max Planck Institute. And at the Max Planck Institute, they actually did a study where they found that 95% of what we do every day, we do on autopilot. 95%. Now I want you to really think about that. 95% of what you do every day, you do on autopilot. So what does that translate to? Well, what that translates to is that your habits have everything to do with not just who you are, who you're being, but have everything to do with your health and ability to heal, with or just your ability to achieve any result, goal that you're trying to achieve, because you're on autopilot, right? But what I want you to understand, what's most important here, is that you are not your habits. You are not your thoughts and emotions. So let me explain to you why. Okay, so our brains have 3 different sections. Now, we're not going to get into talking about the different lobes, right? Frontal, temporal, occipital, parietal, okay? So we're not going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about the 3 main sections of your brain, right? So we've got the oldest part of your brain, the reptilian part of your brain, which is what is survival, fight or flight. And then we've got the mammalian part of your brain, the middle part of the brain, limbic, where the limbic system lives, the emotional part of your brain. And then we've got the front part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, the newest part of your brain, right? The part of you that's listening to me right now that's saying, I get what you're saying, Dr. Elizabeth. This makes sense to me, okay? So we have those 3 different parts of your brain. And let's use the example of cigarette smoking because it's a great classic example of an unhealthy behavior that whether you smoke or not, we all know and have more than enough evidence to prove is bad for your health, right? Everybody knows smoking is bad. That's no secret. It's been a well-known fact for a very, very, very long time, okay? But let's say you're a smoker. Now, let's say that front part of your brain thinks, well, I've been reading all these studies, my grandma passed away from lung cancer and she was a smoker and, I really want to make a change. But that reptilian part of your brain, it just identifies habits as a necessary means for your survival. It doesn't identify habits as good or bad. That's something that you do by personalizing your habits, which is why I'm explaining this to you, so I can help you start to take one small step today, which would be to stop your habits, or just to stop identifying with and as your habits, right? Okay, so let's say that smoking's bad for you. Well, that's your prefrontal cortex that's thinking, yes, I know this is bad for me. I'd like to try to stop. Well, let's say every day at noon you had a cigarette. Well, that reptilian part of your brain just knows, I smoke a cigarette every day at noon. That is something I must do for my survival. So what's going to happen around noon is that reptilian part of your brain is going to create an urge that's going to make you think, it's noon, think I might be in the mood for a cigarette. Now, that prefrontal cortex is going to start to argue with that reptilian part of your brain because that prefrontal cortex is going to say, well, no, I know this is bad for me and I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to use my willpower, right? Which is why willpower is not the magic key, is not the magic secret to get you where you want to go on your healing journey or to reach any goal you have in your life, because willpower is a finite resource, okay? So at some point you will run out of it, okay? So that's why I always tell my clients, my private clients in my practice, it's not about willpower. It's great to have some willpower, but that's not the thing you need to get where you want to go, It's just not. So, like I explained, you have these 3 sections of your brain. Now, when you have a habit, and a habit that you even are aware is unhealthy and that it's a barrier for you standing in the way of you getting where you want to go, but you just can't seem to stop. What I don't want you to do, number 1, is make it mean something, because what we have a tendency to do is to personalize our habits, right? We'll say, well, because let's just go back to this example with the cigarette smoking, right? So let's say at noon, you got the urge. That's your reptilian part of your brain, because your reptilian part of your brain is signaling to you that it's time to do something you need to do to survive. It doesn't think it's good or bad. It just is what it is. But you're going to start fighting it with those thoughts in your prefrontal cortex. No, I don't want to do this. No, I know it's bad for me. And now you've got literally 2 sections of your brain arguing with one another. Now, because at this stage, we're not actually applying the correct strategy to break the habit, those 2 parts of our brain actually get into an argument with one another. And eventually what typically happens, right? Whether it's smoking or some other behavior you can relate to in your own life. What typically happens, right? Maybe it's late night snacking. That is one that has come up often for some of my clients in the past and currently. What tends to happen, right? We resist, but because when we're resisting, those 2 areas of our brain, the prefrontal cortex and the reptilian area, are arguing, what's actually happening is we're making the urge, the reptilian part of the brain, stronger, right? So that is actually one of the reasons why, if you've ever tried to break a habit that you knew wasn't helpful for your health, or that you just knew wasn't helpful in general, this is why you've probably tried and not been able to succeed. But what I bet you've done is you've made it mean something about yourself that isn't true, right? So now step 2, I want you to, so first, points that we're making here today, and I want you to take away these tangible takeaways. You are not your behaviors. You are not your thoughts and emotions. And that's an entirely different live stream training we'll talk about another time. But you are not your habits, okay? And if you can just get that through to yourself today and take that one point away, that will change so much for you, right? Because what tends to happen, let's use the smoker as the example. The smoker is getting those urges. It's noon. The smoker is thinking, okay, I'm going to fighting back with my prefrontal cortex thinking brain telling me this isn't healthy. I've read the research. I don't want to get lung cancer. I know smoking's bad for me. I'm going to use my willpower to fight this. I don't want to do it. I'm going to fight the urge. I'm going to fight the urge. But that is actually making the urge being created by the reptilian part of your brain stronger. So your reptilian part of your brain starts sending a stronger urge to your body. And what typically happens, right? Put yourself in the shoes of anybody going through that. I myself have been there, not with respect to cigarette smoking, but with other habits in the past. And I'm sure you all can relate because nobody's perfect. So I want you to know that I'm not either. And all of those of us who are good leaders, helpers, and healers, we also know how to hold ourselves accountable and share with you that we are vulnerable and imperfect as well. So I want you to remember that you are not your habits. So then what are you? You are the observer of your habits. Now, if you are not your habits, what does that mean? It means that you can stop personalizing your habits because, again, back to the smoker, what typically happens when that smoker is fighting the urge, right? Or you're fighting the urge against any habit that you don't want to give into. We lose that willpower, we lose the battle, and eventually we give in and we smoke the cigarette, we do the thing, we do whatever the thing is we're trying to resist. And then what happens? We make it mean something, right? We say, see, that's just, I'm just a smoker. This is just how it is. It's an addictive habit. I just can't break it. We create a story about what that inability to break that habit or what the fact that we have that habit, what that means. We make it mean something. But what I don't want you to do is personalize it because the truth is it doesn't mean anything. It just is what it is. It's about giving you the right strategies and tactics to break the habits, which we will and can do in another live training. So if that would interest you, drop a comment here and I will plan accordingly for a future training for you. But what I want you to get today are just some of these basic fundamental, important facts and messages. 95% of what you do every day, you do on autopilot, which means that so much of your ability to be an optimally healthy and well-being and person rests in the ability to train yourself, right? Because think about that. If everything you're doing is on autopilot, the majority of it, then a lot of what you're seeing in your own reality that you're creating around you and on the outside of you and in your life experience is a product of your habits. And we're doing them on autopilot, right? Think back to your morning this morning, right? When you got out of bed, did you first lay there before you got out of the bed? Did you think to yourself, what am I going to do first? I think I could get up and go to the bathroom and I could brush my teeth. Well, maybe I'm going to get up and get dressed first. You didn't think. You just got up and you went and you did and you started doing, right? And that's typically how we go through our day. And that's because we're typically on autopilot. So this is proof that healing is an inside job because if you are spending all of your time looking outside of yourself for the answers, doing all the things, taking all the actions because you think that that's all that matters, but you will not ever once look in the mirror, observe your own habits, observe how you go through your day, observe how those habits impact you throughout the day, right? We all have habits, good ones that we label, because that's us personalizing them, we label as positive and negative, right? Every day I start off my day by moving my body, whether it's going to the gym or going to yoga class. Of course, I personalize that as a very healthy habit. But when I get up every day, I just get up and I go and I do it. It's a part of my life. It's a part of my being. I didn't always have that habit. In 2019, I had 3 surgeries. Last year, I had 1. So over the last 2 years, 2019 through 2021 was a big time health setback for me. So I rebuilt the habit, right? But I did that because I had an awareness and I observed myself going through my day and how my habits were controlling me. So what I want you to do today is just have the understanding that 95% of your day you're doing on autopilot, which should then allow you to have the understanding that so much of what happens in your day and in your health and well-being is a product of your habits and your actions, which then helps you understand more deeply that your habits have everything to do with your health and well-being, but they are not you. You are not your habits. With all of these things being true, what it also means is that number 4, healing is an inside job. You cannot just address all the things on the outside of yourself without turning inward and examining you and what's going on here and what can you change. I want you to really reflect today, because every single one of you watching, no matter when you watch this, and I am absolutely no exception, every single one of us has something that we could change to do better. There's something we could all do, at least one thing that we could all change today, that we could all put into action today, that we could all commit to today, that we all know deep down inside would change our lives and our health in a positive way if we would just commit. So this is how I wanted to kick off my live stream series, in particular inside of my Women's Wellness Collective, because what I want all of you insanely beautiful women to know, and the ultimate point I want to make by sharing this with you all today, is that this is how powerful you are. That healing not just can be, but has to be and is an inside job. Nobody but you gets to do it. Nobody but you can do it. There are a lot of leaders like me out here who can guide you to turn inward and safely unpack, heal, and apply the strategies that I teach my clients to break those habits and release them for life. A lot of the things that we think are habits, and this is maybe going to trigger some people, but I need you to know it's true. A lot of the things we think are habits, we think that we are addicted to, but I have to tell you that is not true. Society has trained us to believe that created the story of addiction around a lot of things, but not everything is an addiction. We create the story and personalize the habits, right? And say, well, oh, I'm addicted to Diet Coke, or oh, I'm addicted to cigarettes, or oh, I'm addicted to this. And for some people, addiction is a reality, right? But how many of us are just telling ourselves a story that, oh, I'm just a late night snacker, right? Oh, I just have a sweet tooth. Oh, I'm a cookie eater. Or, oh, I'm a cheese eater. Oh, I'm a bread eater. Listen to what you're saying when you say those things, right? Our words, our energy, all have a frequency and a vibration. When you say, I'm a blank, I'm a late night snacker, let's use that. It's a common one I've supported my clients around. I'm a late night snacker. You're actually saying you identify as a late night snacker, that your identity is a late night snacker. You are not a late night snacker. You're not your habit. You are a divine, infinite, cosmic being, the observer of the late night snacker. So my job isn't just to help you figure out the root causes of your health issues and create a plan and a pathway to guide you there. That is all incredibly important, amazing stuff. I love it. I'm amazing at it. And we absolutely do it and address it. But what my true work is to help you transform from the inside out. But understand that only you can put in that work, and it really all starts with just creating awareness. Awareness that we all have things that impact our health and ability to heal, that are barriers that we've either created or born with, developed along our lives. And I want you to hear those stories you tell yourself. You are an incredibly powerful healer. Did you know that? You're an incredibly powerful healer. You are a divine, infinite, cosmic being with infinite potential. And that potential exists for you to apply it toward your health and well-being. You are that powerful. That I will continue to teach you, remind you, and give you as many lessons and examples. I will spend every day until I take my last breath, hoping that I can help you look in the mirror and see just how powerful you really are, so that you can connect to it, activate it, and then go out in the world and shine that big, bright, beautiful light that we are all waiting for you to come out here and shine. So part of this work is transformational work that I do. It's about helping you turn inward. It's about creating and holding a safe, sacred space for you so that you can look at yourself, see yourself, see the divine, beautiful being that you truly are. Because one of my magic powers, I've considered it since I was a little girl, is that I see people from the inside out. So when I look at you, I see all the potential that lives and breathes inside of you that is just dying to get out. And I hope that all I can do is help you see inside of yourself the power that I see just waiting to come out and make a huge difference in the world, because each and every one of you has that ability. So I hope that today this has been impactful. I hope that it's helped you understand a little bit more about yourself, about your own health and healing journey, about your own health and well-being, about how you might be able to make some changes without having to do anything except look at yourself and observe how you move throughout your day. And see if, as those habits come up, you can notice them, and instead of telling yourself a story about what it means about you, if you can just notice it now from the standpoint of that divine cosmic observer that you are. Right? So I want to know what questions this brings up for you, what clarity you need, what it brings up in general that you want to share, what other trainings you'd like to see to get support around. We can absolutely do a follow-up to this where I give you a very specific strategy you can use to immediately start to break unhealthy habits that you want to get rid of. Anything I've got so much plans for you all, but I am running out of time, and my goal today was just to plug in to my divine source, let the wisdom come to you, and know and trust that you're going to receive it. And I also want to wrap up today by just saying that one of the most important things to me, for those of you who are just getting to know me, is that you know that integrity, genuineness, and honesty rest at not just the core of my being, my divine cosmic being and who I am, but the core of how I run my practice and the work that I do. And so I want you to know I'm always going to be here to be your transparent, heart-centered, vulnerable leader, to share with you the honest, truthful information, things you can always rely on. And it's such an honor to be here to serve, to guide you all, to support you all, to help you see your beautiful self and heal from the inside out. And I hope ultimately to help you just connect more deeply with the truest essence of who you are. It is such an honor to be here to support you all on your health and healing journeys. Talk to me. Let me know what this all brings up. Let me know what you want to talk about next. I've got lots of plans, so if you don't tell me, I've got all kinds of awesome support coming for you on your health and healing journey this year in 2022. So I'm so excited. It is with all the love and healing energy that I can source right now. And so that was the other thing I wanted to say, is that it's also most important to me that you know that everything I do and every time I come here to connect with you all, I do it from a place of very genuine intention. Because I teach my clients, because I know it's true, because I practice what I preach, that everything is energy, okay? It's physics. It's not up for debate. everything is energy, including you, okay? And so if everything is energy, what I also need you to remember today, and I'll continue to give you more evidence as to just how powerful you are so powerful that energy immediately follows the way you think. Energy immediately follows thought. So I want you to know that before I connect with you all, I set an intention. And my intention is to speak from my heart, to connect with divine wisdom for all of you on your behalf, to support you on your healing journey, and guide you with integrity. So I want you to know that in this moment, to close this live session today, I am very intentionally connecting with my divine source energy and sending you all so much healing and supportive energy. Whether you watch this live or later, you will receive it, and I trust that it will serve you in some way, shape, or form today. I am sending you all so much love. I hope you can feel the good energy that's coming through to you right now. And I cannot wait to connect with you all again and keep guiding you on your journey wherever you are. Sending you all so much love today.